Yo, what's up and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. It's the last day of 2021, last podcast of the year. We're going to do a bit of a recap tonight on 2021, the good, the bad. Tonight on the podcast we got Hoffman, we got Alex, aka Zaberwolf. Kyle Crunk's going to be joining us for a little bit, I think, as well. So let's go. Let's get into it. I'm going to bring the boys in now. Give them a warm welcome. Make sure you follow all of us on Twitch. Hit like on the video if you're watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. If you're on Spotify, give us a heart. Give us a follow. Turn on the notifications. All that usual stuff. Okay. Here they come. Here come the boys. Yo, yo, yo.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, Finto?
How are we? Kyle, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Finto?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Sorry,
The
Mike.
last cast of the year, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Exciting.
2021 is
Marvelous
done.
year.
It was a bit of a marvelous year, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
41 episodes. Who'd have thought?
I
Love
know.
it.
It's actually a lot. I was only thinking about that the other day. I was like, it's crazy to think we've had 41 episodes of the podcast. And then, throughout the year, we've done other content, like covering a bit of Star Wars, covering some DC stuff as well. So, we've put out a lot. So it's been a good year. It's been a good year for sure.
Has been a good
Yes,
year.
sir.
Podcast
Ooh,
gone
we're
through
fun.
different iterations. Hosts have come on. Hosts have left. And here we are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Finto, you're in Ireland. Are you in the new year yet, or you got like 2 more hours?
It's still 2021, but we're into the last 2 hours of the year. So we'll probably be
Too
live.
close.
We'll probably be live as it hits midnight here, I would say.
Oh, nice.
All going well. So yeah. How was everybody's day?
Good.
Good.
Busy.
I just got done watching that new Netflix show, movie, Don't Look Up, with
I watched it the other night.
That's
Leo.
Leonardo.
That movie.
Did
That
you not
movie.
like it, Kyle?
It's silly.
It's very silly, but I thought it was great.
It's probably one of the funnest satires I've seen in a long time. Like, it just,
Yeah.
it's good.
It's aware.
It's been a
it's-
while since we've had like a really good satire movie, I think. Honestly.
You know what that just reminded me? The year of 2021. The year of the self-aware. There were so many projects where they were self-aware of what, like, who they were and what they were doing. Like, look at the new Spider-Man. They have all the scenes. Like, I feel like the self-awareness this year really upped the content productivity, the level of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I think you're right, and I think Spider-Man has shown. And I'm a little bit nervous about this. I think Spider-Man really showed like studios like just give us fan service in a good way, and like we'll show up in $1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
we'll give you $1 billion.
100%.
Just like love us. Just give us what we want.
Just love us. Sound like an abused child. Just love us, please.
I was listening
We're
to
just jonesing,
man.
I was listening to a podcast today about Star Wars, and they brought up the fact that, I think we all know the Star Wars community is probably like one of the most divided communities out there. Like, it's, left versus right all the way. And they kind of just mentioned that, Marvel seemed to be doing the opposite and kind of listening to the fans and kind of giving the fans what they want if it works out. And No Way Home is a perfect example of that for many reasons. Obviously, they gave us all the Spider-Man and, recreated the meme moments and everything, and it was magical. But even down to the fact that, a lot of the fan base was kind of annoyed at the whole, Iron Man Jr. thing, and they've pretty much gone and retconned the entire, the entire character, and pretty much kind of booted him off now from the start of an arc. Like, that's basically been a 3-movie arc as an origin story. So, it's great. It's great, Marvel, I think, are hitting it out of the park. They had a great year, fantastic year. Even their worst content, I was thinking about this today. What are we going to talk about today? And you know, even like Marvel's worst content of the year was still great. You know,
Yeah.
being realistic.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like it's been a really good year, and I think 2022 is going to be, might even be better. Could be. I think it will be. I think it'll be a better year for content. 2022, to be honest.
I think 2022 for Marvel definitely has like some of the things I really want to see. Like I really want to see Doctor Strange. I really want to see Thor. And I really want to see what they announce because there's so many things out in the distance that we want to hear about. Like I'm excited for Marvel's 2022, especially after this year, because you're right. Like, you know what? I think they put out like 6 or 7 pieces of, you know, part of the MCU, and they're all pretty good. They're all above average.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
Some of them I might
can't
not
wait
watch
for-
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. I can't wait for She-Hulk and Moon Knight.
Moon Knight's gonna
100%. Like,
yeah.
I'm so psyched for Moon Knight. I'm just waiting on those comics to come out to see how the story unfolds. It's just fantastic, and I love how dark it is. And I know that's probably not going to be as dark as it will be, or should be. And it's it kind of bums me out a little bit, but I still want to see the character on screen.
Yeah, I'm always interested in like when things like Moon Knight coming out, like how close to the source material is the MCU gonna keep to like the kind of the current run of the comic book, right? Where it's like Marvel comic books is really weird with what they do. They're not really. I don't think they make the best decisions over there. Where it's, you know, Doctor Strange is gonna come out in March. It's like gonna be one of the biggest movies of the year probably. And what are they doing in Doctor Strange comic books? Oh, Doctor Strange dies and his ex wife is the new Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
my
you
God.
have the new movie coming out, man. Like,
Wow.
maybe we can hold off a little bit.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
Did anyone
Yeah.
whisper in that guy's ear like, "Hey, chill,
Yeah.
chill"?
Sure. You know, in the comic books, resurrections just happen all day, or multiverse stuff, or whatever. You know, or time travel, or just something will happen, and he'll be back in all his glory in no time.
We're living in a multiverse right now. Multiverse where I haven't had caffeine in a week and a half. Would you have thunk it? Oh, no
I-
Red Bull,
Oh, geez.
nothing.
I did a good solid like nearly 3-week break myself.
I'm done. I quit it.
Yeah.
Why?
Done with,
Well
done
done.
with caffeine. I didn't actually know until this year that caffeine itself actually can create its own little bit of anxiety. So I already deal
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff. And then I realized, I thought to myself, it's not like I was drinking it for like energy, or like it's not like I got the jitters out of it anyway. I just enjoyed the taste. So I enjoy the taste of other things that don't cost as much and aren't an issue for me. So
Yeah, it's
If
great.
you start sleeping better, I'm gonna be so mad at you, bro.
not really.
I've known you for like what 3.5 years, and you're like, yeah, I can't ever fall asleep. I'm like, you drink like 8 Red Bulls a day, man. Like,
still getting like 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's my yeesh.
I hope that should improve over time. I think, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a couple things. I've got something diagnosed. It's called sleep misperception syndrome. Long story short, my brain doesn't know when I'm asleep, so it's hard for me to sleep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was
I've
gonna
never,
have
heard
that
of,
brain.
I've never heard of that before.
Hey, brain, I'm sleeping right now. Like, let's go.
It's like you know. Have you
Can
ever
we
been?
turn
Have you
off,
ever been
please?
in a dream where, like, in your dream you hear your alarm or whatever, or you hear something from the outside world?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of where I get stuck in sleep, where I have like a little bit of awareness, so I never get into deep sleep because
Okay.
my brain always kind of keeps a foot back here. It's weird.
Gotcha.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so this is the multiverse we're in. I haven't had caffeine. You guys
So we're gonna
help
do.
me.
We're doing a recap of 2021 tonight. So I think the best place to start would be, what was your favorite content of the year? Doesn't have to be
Hands down.
Doesn't
Hands
have
down
to be.
Spider-Man.
It doesn't have to be Marvel. Doesn't have to be, like, you know, anything. Like I've been racking my
Hands
brains.
down Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think, you know, movie wise, 100% Spider-Man. I think like it was just so
No
incredible.
question.
For me, TV wise, is actually Dope Sick. Dope Sick blew me away. I cannot believe how good that show was. That was better than, for me, that was more entertaining and better than any content that Disney put out this year. Like, incredible. I was blown away by it. Could not believe it.
I gotta see it because I know it's on here in the States. It's on Hulu. For you, I think it's on Stars.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, Michael Keaton shows up in any performance. I recently just got Hulu on, like, we're working through stuff. So Dopesick is coming, and you got me like
Oh,
completely
dude.
excited for it.
I honestly, I just can't. I can't wrap my head around how good it was. I can't wrap my head around how shocked I was. Like, obviously, we don't have Oxy in this country. It would never be legalized over here, and they kind of cover that in the show as well. And they try to break into Germany during the show. And like again, you guys might know about some of the history of this stuff, but I knew nothing about it. Like, obviously, I'd heard of Oxy and how crazy it is and all this stuff, but like, you know, I didn't live it. Like, I wasn't there on the ground floor like you guys, but like, Jesus Christ, I was just completely blown away by how insane the whole situation was, how they got away with it. And then like,
It's
the show itself is just stacked. The cast is stacked top to bottom. You've got like Michael Keaton, Rosario Dawson, your man Will Porter's in it. He's brilliant in it. Like, it's top notch TV. I cannot express that enough. Like, honestly,
yeah.
hands down the
Like
best
you
thing I
said,
watched this year.
It was kind of crazy because like Hoffman, we're all of the age where we kind of watched that epidemic kind of start. I remember in high school watching my friends do a bunch of these pills, and then they weren't able to get them anymore, and heroin was cheaper. And I literally watched my friends in high school switch from pills to like heroin and stuff, and saw a bunch of people like it's the craziest. And then like, to be honest, I didn't even know other countries had them completely like banned. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
Because
that shit would
we grow up-
never be passed here.
America is one of 2 countries in the world that allows pharmaceutical companies to make commercials and advertise. So it's just like we grew up in a weird place here where it's like pills and medicines are shoved down our throat publicly all the time. So it's super weird.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
I was so shocked by the whole thing.
Like I grew up in a pretty small country town, and you know, I been 15 years since I lived there, right? And when I go back there now, like the town is completely different. You can see the look on people's faces that they've been addicted to like Oxy or on like gone over to heroin and stuff. Like it's rough, bro. Like Dopesick ain't joking. Like those small country towns like get taken over by this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be able to walk through my neighborhood, like in my old childhood, where like I didn't even realize there were things going on in the background. I was just so oblivious to everything. And then once I hit 16 and moved, I realized that it was kind of turning into a shithole. And it was pretty sad, but like I still enjoyed the things that I did, you know, going around the neighborhood, being able to make new friends and whatnot. Nowadays it's, you know, people are shut in.
Yeah.
So that's what good TV does, man. Like it spotlights things that I don't think they'll ever bring up in a movie, right? Like, why would you want to spend a movie making about that? So much money to make a movie. So you can make a TV show that like really highlights it, stays with you, has great characters in it. So I'm really looking forward to Dopesick.
Oh, dude, it's just I can't get over it. It's so good.
You know, a show that I watched that I actually really enjoyed was The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh,
and yeah, if you've watched Eastbound and Down, you know The Righteous Gemstones is around the same corner.
I love
It's so good.
Eastbound and Down is
that
so
show,
good, dude. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's so good.
What service is it on?
HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a televangelist style like show with Danny McBride, John Goodman. It's got Walton Goggins. It's got a few other characters, notable characters, but like it's just a great synergy that you feel with all the characters. Like it gets funny, but then it also gets serious. It's really, I like it. I like it a lot.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
I'm just now getting around to The Witcher myself, actually.
Ooh,
I haven't even started The Witcher.
I got a few episodes left.
man.
What
I
are you
haven't.
thinking?
I've got one season 2 episode, and that's it.
I'm thinking this season makes a little bit more, isn't as crazy as last season as far as like what the hell is going on. You kind of know what's going on a little bit better, but it's I never played the game, so for me it's, you know, I have no tiebacks or references, so I'm still kind of lost in the sauce half the time. But visually and content wise, for someone that doesn't know anything, I've enjoyed the second season so far, probably more than the first.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It ended a little poorly. Like it was on track to be a really, really strong season, and then the last episode they kind of dropped it off a bit. So that's. But I did enjoy it more than the first season, and I'm the same as you, Kyle. I've never played the games, so I have no source material whatsoever. So I'm just completely blind to it. So if they're changing stuff left and right, I have no idea. You know.
It's just a tough start because I want to start from the very beginning, but at the same time, most people praise the third game so much that I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should just start at the third one, because I know that there's moments in the game. I think there's one moment where like you're getting a haircut and you can literally choose the actions that you would have chosen in The Witcher like 1 and 2. So it kind of like you can cookie cut your way into the third one in a sense.
Yeah, it's good. I think you'll have trouble if you go back and play the first one or the second one, because the systems are dated. Like if you go from the third one back to the first and second, it is a completely different experience. They completely change everything they did in the third one for the better. And the first one plays like a lot more like an old school RPG, like point and click RPG, kind of like Diablo a little bit, I guess. So you just gotta be aware of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard, and I don't know if this is true or not. Again, I haven't played any of the games, but I hear you can just jump into the third one and kind of scrap the first two. You don't need to play the first two. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
From what it seems like.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think watching 2 seasons of the show, really liking it, and I think I owe it to them to play the game.
Well, speaking of games that you're recently playing, like how's Spider-Man going?
Dude, I love it so much. Like, I don't know if you've been watching much of the stream or anything, but like for me, it feels like a brand new game. Basically, they put out a remaster for the PS4 Spider-Man game on PS5. But recently, with the release of No Way Home, they added the new Tom Holland suits into the game, so you can play the whole game again, but with all the Tom Holland suits on, and it's just so much fun. Like I'm playing all these throughout all the cutscenes and everything, like you're wearing the brand new suits and all. It's just fantastic fun. Like absolutely love it. So highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it. Did you
What kind of powers did they give his new suit?
I'm playing the remaster, which is technically a new game because I had to start completely fresh. Like I'm doing all the achievements and everything again, and I have to unlock all the suits again. So some of the powers I don't have. But it's all the same powers as. I don't think there's any specific powers for the new suits, like specifically. Like it's just all the original powers that were in the game.
Gotcha.
My absolute favorite suit was the negative suit. I never took it off once I got it.
Yeah, I'm swapping back and forth. Like Andrew suits in it, Toby suits in it. I'm just like, this is incredible. I'm like, I just can't believe it. And there's a bit in the game where you do the train scene from Toby Spider-Man 2, but I was wearing Andrew's suit and I tried to change it, but you couldn't change it during the cutscene. I was like, no, I ruined it. It was funny though. Great game though. Great game. My God, I'm really enjoying being back in it, and it looks so good on 60 FPS with the ray tracing on and everything, and the adaptive control, like triggers on the controller and everything. Like you can feel the web swinging. It's just like the Miles game on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
Well, have we all finished it?
Yeah,
I have, yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
played any Spider-Man games.
Well, would you mind if I asked about
Go ahead.
how everyone felt about the ending?
Yeah, go ahead.
I really.
I'm not like invested. Like, no, don't spoil it for me. Go ahead. Yeah.
I truly love the story of Otto and his ascension, and Spider-Man's like realization of what he has to do in order to keep the city protected, and how everything is just kind of spinning out of control, and it ultimately like combines into just Otto at the end, which I really loved. And it's that last moment where like he finds out it's Peter, and it's very heartfelt, especially like when you defeat him. Oh, it's so good. I love that. Like, he walked away, didn't try to finish him off, because that's what Spider-Man does. He doesn't kill people. He just subdues them.
Yeah, and I the ending was great. The action sequence, like the way they did it, where you're like falling down the building, going up the building. The whole last fight scene is just Insomniac's one of the best game developers out there. They definitely have done the best job with Marvel properties. And that Spider-Man game and that ending, like, it got me really excited for like the Wolverine game they're making. Like I want to see more of what Insomniac does.
that's out soon. Well, sorry.
Is it out soon?
Yeah, it's out in 2022. I'm not sure exactly what part of 2022, but we are getting it within the next year. So that's gonna be exciting.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then 2023 for the sequel to the Spider-Man game, which is going to have Venom and Kraven in it. So it's going to be fucking wild. And I think you're going to be able to play as both Miles and Peter are both going to be in it. So I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can choose who you want to play as, or if it'll just kind of, you follow the story and it kind of, you play as Miles for one level and Peter for the next or whatever. But
Co-op. Woo.
yeah, dude,
Oh, that'd be
co-op
so
would
fun.
be so good. Like honestly, phenomenal. I would love it so much. And like to be honest, I think if I have the choice to pick who I want to play throughout the game, I'll pick Miles because like going back and playing as Peter again, I'm like Miles flows better, he's got better moves, his powers are better, he's got the invisibility and the venom stuff and all. Like it's way more fun. It's way
Yeah.
Well,
more
that's
fun.
exactly what they. That's exactly what they did, Finto, for the Ultimate Comics when they introduced Miles. They're like, this is just going to be the better Spider-Man in a sense, but I don't believe he's as strong, but he just has so much more utility, and his acrobatics are way more like defined than Peter's. And so if we were to see a selection of characters, if like let's say it's Miles, Peter, and Venom, that's like your range of like acrobatics and your range of power, because then you get like super acrobatic with Miles, but he's just like kind of scrawny looking, but like so he can't punch as hard. Then you got Peter, who's like a more seasoned character, punches harder, but doesn't have as much acrobatics. And then you just have Venom, who's like just a big brawler who could just grab things and just be like massive.
You
Yeah.
think they're gonna have Venom as a good guy?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. But if they do introduce him and then he becomes like the lethal protector, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if like Craven was hunting Venom as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it seems like that would be something that he would do, especially if we're gonna see like a proper Venom origin where it's like linked to Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like I don't. I'm so excited for that game. Jesus Christ! Oh wow.
Craven would be great too, because like he's one of those comic book characters that does not get a lot of love outside of the comic books, right? Like you don't really have movies about him, you don't have video games about him,
It's
and no
coming
one really
soon.
knows anything about Craven, right? Like so,
Yeah.
Craven movie coming soon.
Well, and then you also have the possibility of having Morbius in the mixture
Yeah.
because it's Sony. So like you could possibly get Morbius,
True.
Mhm.
True.
which would really fit well because we're about to have the movie pop up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Hoffman, what was your favorite content of the year? I know we kind of went off track there and talked about games for a bit.
I would say when it comes to gaming, probably like Guardians of the Galaxy. That game was probably my favorite thing I've played or experienced. Just from top to bottom. When it comes to movies, I'm gonna have to buck the trend here. No Way Home was not my favorite. I think Green Knight was my favorite cinema experience I have had all year. The Green Knight, like the way it looked, the way it was shot, it was like the most gorgeous film I've seen in years. And then it challenged me as a like viewer, right? Like I sat there and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like it's making you work a little bit. And I enjoy that in a movie theater. In the same way that I love when they just like spoon feed you Spider-Man, fan service. I'm like, this is great. When the end of the movie hits and you're like, what does this mean? Like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
I dig that. And so Green Knight was for me is my favorite movie I've seen all year.
Green Knight's on my list. I haven't watched it yet, but those are some very strong words. So I'll be watching it very soon. Let's just say.
Same here.
Yeah, 100%. Well, what about you, Carl? Did you answer already? You said No Way Home. You said No Way Home, didn't you?
I said No Way Home for, I guess, my movie content. I would say No Way Home is my overall content too. Honestly, just everything about that movie was awesome to me. I just really enjoyed it.
What's crazy about No Way Home is like how like some people in Marvel are saying that like it's going to be a stepping stone for what Doctor Strange is going to be, and that really blows my mind. Like because like how much better can it get? Like, and I know I've heard some crazy stuff, and I think it will be amazing, but I don't know. Like that movie was just for me like just so right. Like I said this when I first saw it. I wouldn't change a frame of the movie, and I think I still agree with that. I honestly would not change a thing. I just love the pacing of it from start to finish. Every single thing they put in there deserves to be there. And look, of course, we'd obviously all like to add a few bits, but I think all in all, the movie was an absolute masterpiece. Masterpiece. And I just checked there as well. It
Love letter to the fans.
past 1.2 bill during
that's fantastic.
during Omnicron as well. Like is incredibly impressive. You know, I would think I've been saying this in your stream the other day, Hoffman. I tried to book tickets. I wanted to go on Wednesday to see the movie, and every theater around me was sold out of every single show. I couldn't get a single seat to go see it on a Wednesday afternoon. Like, what the fuck?
Jeez.
That's pretty nuts, man.
It's crazy, dude. I had to book tickets for tomorrow on Tuesday, just to get good seats, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Now they're doing a thing in the theaters here now where they're closing like restaurants and bars and cinemas at 8 p.m. now over here, just to try and kind of, I don't know, like they're trying to kind of bring the numbers down of positive tests by making people go home earlier or whatever. But yeah, like it's crazy to think that, like, you know, there's 3 p.m. shows on a Wednesday that are completely sold out, every single screen maxed out, like can't even buy one random seat at the front, like completely gone. So,
well, this is the thing, Finto. Like, this is the piece of cake that we've all been waiting for. We've just been getting candy this whole time, and we finally get a piece of cake.
Yeah,
and it's so good.
Yeah, no, it really was. Like, I'm going to see it again tomorrow. I cannot wait. I just want to sit back more and kind of analyze the movie a bit more, take a bit more in now that I've seen a lot of bits and pieces. Like, I'll be honest, like, I was so lost in the moments of watching it, I didn't even really notice that they did the whole meme, the pointing meme in the movie. Like, I was just so like blown away, like just staring at Andrew's face and then looking slightly to the left and seeing Toby's face, and I was just like, I can't believe the two of them are fucking standing beside each other right now. I wasn't even like paying attention to the fact that they're doing the memes and stuff, like, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna soak up so much more.
I missed the entire Spider-Man pointing at each other meme.
Yeah.
When Hoffman said that it happened in the movie, I was like, wait a second. I wanted that and I don't remember it, but I think I was just so shook the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, mouth open, drooling, like, oh.
Yeah. I was so annoyed as well because, like, I was the only one in my theater that was like going crazy, you know. Like, I screamed when Andrew came out to the thing, and I was the only people were looking at me like as if I was a dickhead. Like, I was like, "Fuck you!" I was like, "Fuck you!" Like, I was like, "This is amazing."
I was born in America.
Alex, give us your best content of the year, bro.
Geez, I would just say, like, everything that we've done so far in the podcast. Like, I've rewatched all the stuff that we've done.
We're the best thing of the year. Let's go.
I really believe that, because I really enjoyed everything that we've done so far, and I've had such a fun time with everyone. And I know this seems like a cop out, but like, I really did enjoy everything that we've watched, everything that we've done, everything that we've, like, you know, been gathering for. And, you know, it's the best is yet to come. This is just the end of the year. We're going to start the new year, and we're going to have more content coming in, and I'm just so excited for it. But in terms of games, yeah, like, I didn't play Guardians of the Galaxy, but I watched Hoffman play it, and holy jeez, I need to play it. I definitely need to play it. It looked fantastic. It looked sad at certain points. It had you, like, emotional. It had you excited. It had you, like, rocking out. You know, it had everything. It was just the best of the best for video gaming. And I think it should have been Game of the Year at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely a knockout.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was, like, seriously considered for whatever reason, but it should have been its Game of the Year. Like, game, nothing else came out that was better than it, in my opinion. Like, it just didn't.
Yeah,
like, I've never felt like such, like, a heartwarming game. I've never felt like in love with characters like I felt in love with that team when they came together. They had me the whole way.
I think you said this on your stream as well, Hoffman. Like, you know, they finally did Drax right, for example. Like, you know, Drax was just like comedy relief in, like, the MCU, and in this you're like, oh my god, this guy is a real character and you love him, you know. It was just like top to bottom fantastic. Like, Rocket was great, Gamora was good, like, you know, it was just, and like Quill as well. I didn't like the look of him when I first started playing the game, but he grows on you so much. Like, it's proper immersion. Like, it's fantastic. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, easily the best game of the year, and like, it's better than the movies, which is just insane.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah,
and I think it shows. I think the reason it's better than the movie, not like because James Gunn is any worse of a director than the studio that made this game, It's just like video games are the best medium for storytelling, in my opinion. Like I when you're spending 30 hours with them, you can do stuff that you just can't do within a 2-hour movie. You can create better moments. You can create better connections. There are better payoffs. Like video games are the best storytelling you can get. It's the best medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and like even that Spider-Man game we were just talking about, like they did Octavius better than Sam Raimi did. You know,
So good.
like with ease.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah. Just the proper motive, just the, the intentions, the deceit, the realizations, everything in like both Marvel games, they just knock it out, and it's insane. And I'm really like Hoffman said, I'm really excited for Wolverine, and I'm also excited because, they might show Hulk in that one, and I really hope they do him well.
Hulk and Wolverine.
Yeah,
You know what
I think
just saw the other day is the teacher, the geeky teacher from Tom Holland Spider-Man's. He was a college student in The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep, absolutely. He was the one trying to offer Bruce a slice of pizza.
I would have never caught that
I've seen
because
that.
I'm never going to watch The Incredible Hulk again, mainly. But
I think I've seen that movie once. I'm not gonna lie. I
Maybe
genuinely think
twice.
once.
It-
And I own it on Blu-ray.
It's absolutely done well, in my opinion. I think it just got shot down really hard because of it. It was like one of the first of its kind, and I get it. It's tough because it's like you guys have said before. Like, what kind of villains does Hulk really go up against? It's usually like other humans and whatnot. But that's what makes him such a strong character, because he just wants to be left alone. And then once you've actually introduced the characters that like really go after him, like the leader, Doctor Doom, and other such villains, that's when you really see Hulk kind of have his moments of like, holy crap, like he's so important to everyone in a sense. Like he's the world breaker. He's
as far
he's
as that film goes, you're coming off as the guy that won't admit his own fart smells bad. I'm just saying, like it stinks, bro. It stinks.
in a sense, but I don't know why it stinks, and that's one thing I don't understand is like, how did it stink? What exactly was terrible about it? When you see that the introduction of Abomination was done pretty well. It was actually a super soldier serum used against the Hulk. It didn't work out because he was too cocky, and then he becomes the Abomination, fights the Hulk. Turns out he's stronger than the Hulk, but because of his rage, you see that like he overcomes the obstacle of like trying to get Abomination down while also trying to save Betty, and he is about to murder Abomination. That's the thing, is he like Hulk is not someone who won't kill someone. He'll kill them if need be. And it's just that takedown at the very end when he just stands on him and he just shouts into the air and you hear that Hulk smash. It's just like, it's me as a fan, as a hardcore fan, like I love it. Can't get enough of it.
I just love how you say like Hulk is going to be someone that kills him if he needs to. Literally everyone that Hulk touches dies. Like there's no way their bones survive any of that, bro. It's like smash him straight through a car and they're like, no, he's good. He's fine. He's a murderer.
He really is. And that's why he's considered a monster, and that's why the Illuminati sends him out. And there's so many different stories about it, but like that's why I can't wait for the Fantastic Four to come around and Doctor Doom, because then we're gonna get those moments if they choose to. Which I think it's long overdue. But as of right now, we're coming up to She-Hulk. So it's fine if Hulk is put on the side. I just want a Hulk type character to have their run. And if Jennifer Walters is up to bat, I think this is going to be a knockout.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. Like I think the whole fourth wall stuff is going to go down really well on She-Hulk and stuff like that. And the fact that Ruffalo's in it. I think that first movie is such a failure just because they recast. And there was the whole thing with Norton. I think everyone's just kind of like, fuck that film. It doesn't exist. It's not part of the MCU. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even critiquing the film. I just won't watch it in the MCU, like, timeline order rewatches. I just won't watch it. Like, and I think if there was a Thor movie without Chris Hemsworth and then they recast after one movie, you're probably not going to watch that first Thor movie either unless it was incredible. You know, like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. I don't think it's any fault of Edward Norton. I love Edward Norton. He's a fantastic actor, and I think I love his passion. I love the fact that he's such a diehard Hulk fan that the only way he would do more movies is if he could direct, and they were like, "Nah, see you later, bro." Like and it obviously didn't work out in his favor.
Yeah.
But I respect the fuck out of him for making that decision because that was his thing. He's like, "This is my vision, my
He shot
film."
his shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he went down
Yeah.
swinging, but he shot it.
I respect the shit out of him for it. It just didn't work out.
It's-
Maybe if the MCU was more established and he made a couple of more appearances, then he would have had that bargaining power. But unfortunately, it was the wrong time.
Yeah, for like a one and done kind
Yeah.
of situation,
At
he
the
should
very
have kept his
beginning, it was the second movie.
Yeah. he should have kept his mouth shut for a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
just to see where it goes, and then like after the second movie, maybe like start talking.
Yeah, because like if you think about how the MCU went, there was a Hulk movie, but then Hulk didn't show up again for like 5 or 6 movies. So I wonder, would he have been more involved if Norton did stay on, and would it have turned around? Like, could he have done a couple of like appearances in like Iron Man 2 and Thor 1 and so on like that, and then be able to turn around and say, guys, look, I think we need Hulk 2 and I want to direct it. And I think at that point it would have worked,
Yeah, it totally would have worked.
Yeah, he was just too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, you like when you have creative minds that are conflicting, you got there's nothing you can do except boot them out and just figure it out later.
Yeah, and like, look, I think Ruffalo is perfect for the role, and I can't picture like Endgame with Edward Norton in it. I just can't, like, and I can't picture Ragnarok, with Edward Norton either. Like, I just think it's Ruffalo all the way. So,
I think
all good things happen for a reason, I suppose.
And I can half agree with you. The only thing that I think would work well is if Edward Norton started wearing a lab coat throughout the entire time, or wearing like something like in a brown and kind of like purple kind of style.
Yeah.
Because like his small stature makes you think, well, this guy's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And then he hulks out, and then there's that. Mark Ruffalo has muscle. Like, he's no small guy. Like, he seems like he's pretty built, and not as built as Thor, but like either way, it worked out well because we enjoy him. We enjoy Banner, and as long as we enjoy Banner and Hulk, that's the whole point.
Yeah, for sure.
We can all
And-
agree, fuck Professor Hulk, though.
Yeah, and I think again, this is Marvel kind of listening as well. I think they're bringing him back. He's Banner again now. As we saw at the end of Eternals. So they've kind of, again, Marvel doing the right thing, kind of listening to the fan base and going, oh look, people aren't really attached to Professor Hulk. Let's bring him back.
It was too soon.
Yeah.
It was way too soon. I was on Reddit and I saw a meme of like, well, look what they did to my boy. They show the gif of him during the Battle of New York, and he looks like a badass. And then later on, you see him like not even able to turn because he doesn't want to come out because he's like upset with Banner about stuff. And yes, like I get that that's
Man, bro. It's 10 years.
Yeah. But like I get it. You're trying to make plot so that you don't have the biggest, toughest guy around. But like, holy crap, why'd you do it to him? Like you had Carol come in like once in a while at the very least. Why couldn't you have Hulk?
True. Did you hear, just to kind of speak a little bit about rumors, but I read a rumor today or yesterday that apparently there's been talks of, for a while, there's been talks of a project between Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans. Now, they're saying, originally they were saying they weren't claiming it was like an MCU project. They were just saying the two of them were going to work together at Disney on a film, right? Then there was the whole lawsuit thing with ScarJo and everything. And now people are saying that there could be a film done with Captain America and Black Widow, just the two of them, like a duo movie, as their upcoming project, and it could be what they did within those 2 years. So it takes place kind of directly after Black Widow, and just kind of focuses on the two of them. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm down in the sense that like I always love to see Chris Evans as Captain America. I'm great to see Black Widow back. You know, Scarlett Johansson. Are we gonna feel the same way we did though after the Black Widow movie, where it's like, well, this should have happened already. We've already treaded this ground and been around this timeline. Like, do we really need this? You know what? If there's a good enough story there, like for sure it could probably work. But I'm a lot more interested in going forward in the MCU or going backwards into the past, where it's like things like Captain Marvel, where it's like set in the 90s or the 80s. Like I'm more interested in that, not just poking around the current time place.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, Black Widow felt out of time, and now if you're making a movie and they haven't even started it yet, it's probably not going to be out till like 2024, and it's like, Jesus, we're going back to 2018 again. We're still living in the Infinity Saga. I'm obviously going to watch it. I'm obviously going to enjoy it, but is there a need for it? No.
Right, and we just, like, if you think about it, when you rewatch the Winter Soldier, it wasn't just Cap and Bucky, it was Cap and Widow trying to figure stuff out together. It wasn't like they haven't done this before.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to watching something again with both of them, but I think we've already seen them in the past. So I agree with Hoffman. Let's go somewhere else. Let's have another origin come in. Let's have some more characters like kind of come in. But then it starts reaching to that point of that Hoffman also brought in a while back was, how many people are you going to try to fit in before you start making like big movies again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Worst content of 2021. Who wants to go first?
Is this Marvel or just overall?
It can be anything, really, I suppose.
I would say the Matrix Resurrections would be the...
That's up there,
Not that I think it was worse than other stuff, because like I definitely liked it more than say Loki, but like from expectations being so high for the Matrix and wanting to see it so bad, it was like the biggest letdown. It wasn't necessarily the worst thing I've seen all year. It was for sure my biggest letdown of the year.
You didn't like how they just, I'm not going to spoil it. You didn't like how they just kind of shit on every other movie that they had?
Oh, it's terrible. And like I've been rewatching it, and I'm like an hour into it. And I'm like, this is pretty good. Like this is good. And it's like once they go to the real world, it just like nosedives, man. It's a terrible deconstruction of what people like. They were just making fun of you as a fan. It felt like
you like the Matrix 1 through 3?
Yeah.
Ugh. You dumb teenager.
Yeah.
This meant so much to you. Fuck you.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I was down at my girlfriend's parents, and her brother was watching Loki for the first time, and I kind of sat down and watched the last 2 episodes with him, and it was just like I haven't like sat back and rewatched anything, especially like being able to watch 2 episodes of Loki, for example, like back to back. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool, like just like going in from like episode 5 into episode 6 straight away, and like getting to watch the whole thing with Kang again at the end and all. I was like, Loki was good. Like it was a good show. I think it was kind of hyped up a little bit too much, and I think we were expecting more, but it definitely wasn't bad. For me, Matrix is definitely up there. Carnage was awful.
Oh God.
That I think for me that's probably the worst, and why I say this is because the difference between Carnage and Matrix for me was I watched Matrix in my sitting room for free and I hated it, but I didn't care. I didn't waste any money.
Yeah.
I spent like $70 to go and see Carnage between like food and tickets and stuff like that. And like I remember like me and my girlfriend turning and looking at each other and just going, what the fuck is this shit? Like in the middle of the movie, like what are we watching? This is horrendous, So I think
I have to hard agree on that choice.
Carnage
worst of the year. Yeah.
It really was. Like it was just fucking awful. It was so short. The storyline was bullshit. Like everything about the movie was just terrible. And even like the CGI wasn't even amazing either. Like, and like that's where the movie even should have shined. Like it should have been something just incredible visually to watch. And it was just it was just meh the whole way through. So You know, the best thing
Yeah.
about that movie was him licking Tom Holland's face on a screen at the very end. That was the best thing about the film, like, you
What
know.
film did you go see?
Unfortunately, I went to see
hate-
Let There Be Carnage.
I
You
hate to
know,
abandon you all so early, but that's me done here. I hope you guys all have a fantastic new year. Appreciate you having me on the cast this year, and I'm excited for 2022. Whether it be Marvel content or just hanging out with you guys.
yeah, Kyle, thank you for being here, dude.
Yeah.
And
Happy New Year's, Kyle.
it's been a
You
great
Happy
guys
New
year.
Year,
all have a
Been a great year.
fantastic.
Let's do it all again in
GGs.
2022. Later, buddy.
Later, bud.
Um, yeah,
I
Alex,
would ha-
what do you think?
I'd have to tack on and say, yeah, Let There Be Carnage was really rough. It wasn't even like a superhero or type of hero movie. It was a rom-com. It was literally just them like breaking up and then getting back together again just so that they could fight the big bad. And even then, like the villain had a relationship. Like, so it's like
Yeah,
everybody was in a relationship.
Yeah, it was. Oh, bro.
It was the most unstructured movie I think I've seen in forever. Like it was just like went and went and went. It didn't feel like there was an act 1 or act 2. It's just like one bleh the entire time. And thank God
Yeah.
it was so quick.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like they made Eddie seem so dumb. Like,
He didn't seem any dumber than the first movie for me now, to be honest. Like, I hate this portrayal of Eddie Brock. Like, I just don't understand it. I really don't. Like, it's like he's like a guy who played football for too long and he's got brain damage. Like, that's the way he's coming across. Like, it's just why he's supposed to be intelligent. Like, and I know they tried to like kind of make him a bit of a detective in the new one with his like his reporting skills and stuff, but that kind of came out of nowhere as well. So it didn't really make sense. Like I can't imagine what it would be like for like someone who doesn't really know the character too well to be watching that movie and going, "Hang on a second, this guy's like a detective now. What the fuck is going on?" Like, it was just such a flop, such a failure.
I mean, I would say the worst moment in that entire movie was Carnage jacking into the freaking computer.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
Like he's got his own USB ports.
Oh, bro, that was crazy.
I have mine, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh God,
Yeah,
Prove that thing.
it was just so bad.
yeah, it really was, really was. Yeah, I think like all in all, we definitely were spoiled in 2021, like for a lot of really good content, like and the fact that we put out 41 episodes of a podcast of us just talking about content all year long, and a lot of it, I know some of it was rewatches, but we always had kind of new stuff to watch as well. So yeah, we're definitely lucky, and I think it's going to be 2022 is going to be pretty much the same again. So
It's gonna be a banger.
yeah, absolutely.
And it's gonna be I think it's gonna be MCU's biggest year since Endgame came out. Because like Doctor Strange, the Wakanda Forever movie, like, those are two massive pieces of content that are gonna be coming out, and Moon Knight's probably gonna be one of their bigger shows. Probably not view wise, but in terms of quality, probably gonna be the best. Here's hoping.
I don't think hot take. I don't think we get Wakanda next year. I think it gets pushed back. I think it's.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Because even before all this crazy stuff happened in the last couple of months, there was an interview with Martin Freeman, and he turned around and said in an interview that he read the script and he was like, "Jesus, I hope people like this. It's a pretty wild direction that they're going in." So like that, and that was before the wheels fell off. So
Right.
oh, dude, I don't know.
Did
I'm scared?
Did they ever did that petition ever go through, like to get all those signatures just to get some like a recast of T'Challa?
There is a petition. I know I was speaking about a podcast I was listening to. I can't remember the man's name, but there's a guy who's like leading a petition to recast T'Challa, and I think has over 100,000 signatures on it. Only there last week or the week before, Chadwick's brother did an interview and had said, "Look, I know my brother very well, and I can fully back up that he would have definitely wanted a recast." His whole philosophy on life and his job and his acting was that he wanted people to remember the character and not him. So when he's playing like Jackie Robinson and he's playing T'Challa, it's like the story is what's important. I don't want people to be like, wow, look at Chadwick Boseman in this film. I want to be like, look at T'Challa, like look how amazing T'Challa is, look how amazing Jackie Robinson is. And like that was his belief. Like, so the fact that he's passed, it truly, like, his belief would be recast because it's the character that's important, not Chadwick Boseman. So it's a rough one. Like, I think Marvel are correct in in the way they're doing it for now, but for them to turn around and say that they're like killing the character and that's it, T'Challa's dead, never to be recast, I think that's just too extreme. But I think a couple of years break just to pay respects to the man, I think is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But just to scrap it all together, and I know I say it all the time, like, imagine something happened to Robert Downey Jr. after Iron Man 2 and they just said no, you'll never see Tony Stark again. Like, you can't do that. Like, like, people get recast all the time. Like, there's no need to take it so personally. Like,
Yeah, because we're all grieving, but at the same time, that'd be such a letdown. That'd be such, you have to carry the legacy on. He did so well to create that character, so we need that to continue. We need it to thrive and grow, and be his own character.
Definitely. And I get a little conspiracy theorist about this. I feel like Kevin Feige wants to bring the Black Panther back into, or T'Challa back into the MCU. I think it's something he kind of wants. And when you see the petition start and you see the news article from his brother talking about it, it all feels a little bit coordinated. It all feels kind of like, hey, this is what we want. We got to get the gears moving, get everything out there and get this idea planted so that when we do announce it, it's like they soften the landing a little bit. So I fully expect him to recast T'Challa because it just feels like it was a bit too coordinated of a response. So
yeah,
for me.
I think that if they were to do this, and if so many people are crying out for T'Challa or Black Panther to come back and to not be just dismissed, I think they're going to do the same thing that they did for No Way Home, where it just like waits until nearly the end of it, and they're like, "Where's our king?" And here he comes to save the day. And it may sound like a far-fetched kind of situation of like, well, where was he this whole time? But I'm pretty sure they could figure it out. And that would be the best way to kind of ease it in, so that anybody who actually wanted to just finish at Chadwick Boseman will learn to appreciate that, we need a Black Panther. The whole movie goes on. They're like, where is he? We're screwed. Everything's screwed up. We're effed, like everything's crazy. And then he sweeps in and it's like, your king is here. I'm here to protect my people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the most heroic thing you can do to like reintroduce them.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see, or I would be very excited to see, I should say, to see T'Challa back in the MCU, just because he's one of my favorite comic book characters. Anytime, in the current run or the Avengers from like last year or something, like he was leading the Avengers. Like he's that important of a character. Like I love T'Challa, man. Like love him.
Yeah.
He's so beloved. So beloved.
I kind of liked it. There was a kind of rumor or an idea floating around, or a theory that, maybe they get a Killmonger from a different universe where the T'Challa died and then he became king, and then, he loses his T'Challa, but then when he goes to the 616, realizes that the T'Challa's gone there, and he's like, I'll take over here as king or whatever. I think that would kind of work, but, as amazing as Michael B. Jordan is, I just still don't think it's good enough. Like, even to just drop somebody else into the throne and just get rid of T'Challa, because, you've got so many amazing T'Challa stories still to tell, and I just think them having a Black Panther isn't enough. Like, you need to have a T'Challa too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and unlike a lot of other characters, like T'Challa's character is really hard to use his stories overlaid on other characters, because like he comes from a line of African kings. Like there's not many people he's not just like a billionaire. Like anybody can get money, Like this guy comes from, a family who have deep roots within Wakanda, and have led that nation. And so it's like you can't recast that. You can't have a T'Challa story that you just put on Killmonger. Like that doesn't really work the same way because Killmonger has a different place that he comes from. Like he comes from Compton. Like it's different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they open up the multiverse and just like bring in a different T'Challa and it's a different actor, but it's T'Challa from a different universe, and then it's
God,
just
I
like,
hope not.
yeah. But I'm
just-
just thinking, how to like, do they just do like what they did with Don Cheadle, like, and they just kind of they don't even
put him in.
they don't even say a word. You're just meant to be the same guy,
Yeah.
just new face.
Or they could play it the same way as the Mandalorian, where we didn't get to see him until like near the end of the first and second season.
Oh, like just so he's just in the suit the whole time, doesn't take the suit off.
Yeah, why not? Same thing with Spider-Man. Just leave him in the suit. Just let him chill out. Like, not show their face. And then once people get used to that character, eventually the mask comes off, and you realize it's just a completely different actor, and it's like, oh, geez, this guy was great. You know.
Yeah. I don't know if they can do that in like movies though, especially in like a Black Panther movie. I think if you were to do like have him have a couple of appearances like in Civil War where he's not in it for that long, I think yes, that works. But they just don't have time. Like this movie's due to come out in the next kind of 8 months, and I just don't see it happening. I think for what you're saying, like if there was a Black Panther movie that was released and there was a Black Panther in it, and it was to be presumed to be T'Challa, and we never saw the person's face, I just don't know if that like works. I don't know if that like I don't know if that sells, like, to have like a T'Challa like not show his face for an entire Black Panther movie, and then maybe I don't know.
I think you just like started off in the throne room. You see a silhouette of someone sitting on the throne. You pan down. You see the new actor. Someone calls him T'Challa, King T'Challa, and like you're off. You just go. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you just accept it and move on and like keep up.
Yeah, or you have like the mother, like, and she's like, someone walks into a room and the mother's just there, and she's like, "Oh, my son, how are you?" And it's just a different guy, and they hug, and that's it. Like, and you're just like, "Oh, okay."
It's him. It's T'Challa. It's fine. We're moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love. Imagine they did the line, the line that Don Cheadle, "Yeah, I'm here." Like, get over it. It's me. I'm here. Get over it.
They just have that as a line ready to go for whenever someone's recast it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny.
Andrew Garfield just shows up. It's me. I'm here. Get over it.
Oh my god, talking about Andrew Garfield, there's been like so many rumors this week, like of his next appearance. Apparently, like I heard a rumor that he's going to be appearing in a post-credit scene in Morbius.
Good.
Yeah, because like the Oscorp building in Morbius is the same as Andrew's, and then in that trailer he uses the Venom line as well, which would link the Venomverse into Andrew.
Good.
Yeah,
Link them all together.
I think so too. I think I think that's been the plan the whole time. They want to have like a live action Spider-Verse and multiple Spider-Man on the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
And like I think, the next Spider-Man that we see won't be Tom Holland. Like I think that's pretty much guaranteed at this point. It's going to be like Toby and Doctor Strange too. Like how how wild is that?
Pretty wild.
It's crazy to me that is even happening. I've never seen anything in Hollywood get resurrected like the Spider-Man. That's mind blowing.
Yeah, like I've seen so many memes, and like I saw a meme today, and it was like the three of them hugging, and it's like I'm still in shock that Marvel gave this to us, and it's the three boys hugging, like, and it's wild. It's wild that we got it. It's wild.
I still think about that moment where Andrew's Spider-Man saves MJ, and then they land, and he's like, "You're okay? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then he starts crying.
Okay?
She's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, it broke my heart. I was like, "No."
So powerful, dude. So
If he only
powerful.
knew.
I know.
Yeah.
And just the fact that as well, like, he's talking about pulling his punches, and it just seems like he's gone down quite a dark path. And I think if they do give him another movie, I think it could be like what happened to him before maybe No Way Home, and him going down the dark path, which I think would be amazing to see. I'd love to, like, because Andrew could definitely pull that off. Like, he's fantastic.
It'd be Amazing Spider-Man.
Exactly. Knows what it says on the tin. Amen. Amen. What are you looking most forward to in 2022?
Moon Knight and She-Hulk. That's my top two. Multiverse of Madness is in there. I want to see these TV series pull something out.
Yeah.
Get something going. Get us rocking for like some like movie that's going to come up that's going to have something with them, or like another TV show that might have them all in there. Like, I need a TV that's going to rock us forward, because as of right now, like, we haven't had anything. Like, they've always gotten so close, especially with Hawkeye, and then they just drop the ball, and it's so rough.
Yeah, I'm excited for Moon Knight. I'm really excited to see what they do with the character, like how crazy he actually gets. But I think overall, my most excited thing I want to see in 2022, Thor: Love and Thunder. That's Mjolnir, like Love and Thunder. I really want to see what they do with them. Very excited about it. I'm excited to see Jane Foster back. I want to see what story they're going to tell with her. Why she becomes Thor, if they really go with like the comic book version, why she becomes Thor, or whatever it is. Excited for it. Excited to see Russell Crowe back on the screen. He's one of my favorite actors. He's gonna be Zeus, and I hope he just doesn't have like a small cameo part in the beginning, just to kind of set the movie up. I hope he like actually has a larger part in the movie, but we'll see.
Are you afraid that he's gonna get killed by Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher?
Yeah, I'm afraid that that's going to be kind of the intro to the movie. The first like 5 minutes is establishing the stakes that he can kill gods like Zeus. And because just I want to see more. I think it would be awesome for the story, right? But like, I just want to see more Russell Crowe. Because I love him. Like, tonight I'm watching Master Commander. It's like the one movie I watch every year that I haven't seen yet. And so I'm like, gonna tuck in, watch Master Commander, give me some Russell Crowe, and go to bed, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what site did it, but there was a survey done for like the most anticipated Marvel content of 2022, and Thor won the poll. Everyone, like, by a bit as well, I believe. So, and like, yeah, you're completely correct. Like, like star cast, and just a lot to be told. Guardian's probably going to be in it as well, and just I'm guessing Loki's going to reappear. And which version of Loki do we get? I really think, like, especially after rewatching Loki yesterday, I really think that he's still our version of like the one that got killed by Thanos. I think didn't die. I really think he's still alive. And that was just like his best illusion ever, because like classic Loki talks about how he did it. He's like, I pulled off the illusion that the great Titan himself even fell for, like, and it's like Tom Hiddleston's Loki definitely did that. And I think there's going to be two versions of Loki bouncing around. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of like MCU people talk about how they don't like Ragnarok because it doesn't take Thor seriously enough, right? Like, for sure. But the general public, like, they don't care. They fucking loved Ragnarok, man. It's like one of the favorite MCU movies of all time.
It is. It's top 5 for me all day, and it will be forever top 5. Like, just even like thinking back on that film, like just even like the first 5 minutes when like Thor's in the cage or like wrapped up in the chains and stuff, and it's just like the music kicks in and he just starts like killing everybody. Like, I'm just like, this is incredible. Like, it's just such a, like, I know I don't want to talk shit about the second Thor movie because it's not a bad movie. It's one of the worst MCU movies, but it's still a great movie. It's still a great movie, but like it's not like Ragnarok is night and day. Like compared to it, it's like such a step up. Like from that second movie.
Well, yeah, it's literally at that point, because you deal with the dark elves, and then in Ragnarok you're dealing with like a lot of bright stuff. But yeah, like, no matter what my opinion is of Ragnarok, no matter how much I wanted it to be separate from Planet Hulk, I do agree 100%. It is a fantastic movie. It is something that I would love to rewatch. My girlfriend loves rewatching, Ragnarok and the first and the third movies. Like, it's so good. Like, no matter what you say about it, it made people laugh, it made people excited, and it made people happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the content for me for 2022 is definitely like obviously Doctor Strange, Thor, the Batman is actually a big one for me. I think it's going to be a fantastic film. And then we've got a good few Marvel TV shows, and Obi-Wan Kenobi as well is going to be a big one for me. I love Ewan McGregor so much. Like that for me, I was like 15 years old or something when Episode 3 came out, and like that Star Wars movie just means so much to me. So the fact that we're going to get to see like the sequel to that is just like we're so lucky. I think just as fans, as nerds, we're so lucky.
Are you saying that Ewan McGregor is back?
His own TV show this year, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was going to be a different character, like as an older Obi-Wan. But if that's the case,
it's Ewan McGregor, and Hayden Christensen is going to be playing Darth Vader as well. Like it's Anakin and Obi-Wan, like back at it again, straight after
that's
Episode 3.
Great.
It's set 10 years after Episode 3. So yeah,
awesome.
Dude, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. So yeah, like we're completely spoiled. I just, like as amazing as 2021 was, I think we actually get better content next year because WandaVision. Don't really want to talk too much about WandaVision right now, but it was okay, and same with like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was probably worse. Thinking back on it, like as Falcon and the Winter Soldier had really no like if I'm thinking back on that show. Like, the most relevant thing that happened in that show was just Sam getting a suit. Like, that was really it. Like, it was 6 episodes to show off Sam's new suit in the last episode. So, like, I think Marvel are realizing their, like, or Disney are realizing their mistakes, and they're going to start putting out more solid content next year. So, I think all the shows are just going to be fucking fire.
The reshoots and cut content really destroyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah. I really think it would have been a lot better had they just kept it the same way. And although, it was kind of reaching into the same moment of like, oh, we're having a pandemic, and in the show we're having a pandemic. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Just do it.
What are you afraid of? Yeah.
People aren't going to be. People aren't going to not.
Afraid of everything.
I know. True. Like are people going to not watch it because it is a virus? Like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I don't think the show could have performed much worse than it did. If anything, it would be better because it would have been a better structured story. So it would have probably brought more people in. I think them trying to save it, they actually ruined it more.
Yeah, and what they did, I don't like the way Sam treated the villain of the show, the red-haired girl. I think it really kind of destroys him as Captain America for me, where he never really accepted her as like the bad guy. He would never take that. He's always like, she's misunderstood. She wants to do the right thing, but her motives are good, but the way she does stuff is wrong. Yeah. It's like, that can all be good. Like I got you. But like when she's blowing people up, like she's the bad guy.
She's a terrorist.
She's killing people intentionally. And we can address her motives afterwards, and have a really good story for Sam where it's like he's conflicted because he's got to take care of this problem, even though he knows how she was manipulated and her brain got went sideways because of what she went through, but he still has to take care of the situation. Like he's the guy. Like when you're the guy, you have to deal with that. And I wish we would have had that storyline instead of just him not even fighting her and then carrying her down in some sort of like religious pose where he's like floating with her down, like, she did nothing wrong. Like I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand that series. It almost destroyed Falcon for me.
Yeah, there really was no concrete villain. Like you had the power broker, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like it was just, and it was revealed at the very end, which I want to say is the biggest problem with these shows. They're always waiting until the last one or two episodes to reveal who the big bad is. And then they show up and then they're down. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even give us time to like enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that Kingpin was in Hawkeye and he was working in the background and that he had more to say than what was going on. it could have been that Kazi could have been more of the villain than Kingpin at that point, because we've seen Kazi quite often, and it should have been Kazi.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like Agatha Harkness. Like it was like they waited until like the last 2 episodes to reveal that it was Agatha all along. Which we got that jingle, but I don't really care. Like, and then for Loki, it was just like, well, the very last episode we see, He Who Remains, and it was just so lackluster. It was so unwarranted, and it wasn't fun at all. I would have totally been okay with it being nobody, and that nobody was in that area, and that like they just had to figure something else out.
Yep. Like just complete letdowns. I don't. The writing just feels so weak, and I don't know if it's the writer's room or the directors and like Marvel saying like these are the parameters, you got to make this work. But I just feel like the writing's been weak across Disney Plus, across the board. And I thought it was getting better at Hawkeye, and it did get better with Hawkeye, right? Like they had some really great episodes in there, especially like the 3rd episode where they were fighting on the bridge, and you had like the arrow. Like that felt like a really fun MCU moment, right?
Yeah.
And then again, it's like in the last episode, we have to deal with the resolution of Hawkeye and Yelena, Hawkeye and Kami, Kate Bishop and her mom, Kate Bishop and Kingpin. Like, there's no time with any of these things when you got to do so much in the last episode. It's just it's a waste of a season. Like they wasted the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think if you're gonna do stuff like that, and I don't understand that everything's connected, but you have to tell us what it's directly connected to. Like if they built up a bunch of stuff in 5 episodes, and then in the 6th episode didn't answer all the questions, but let us know, like, this is going to continue later on in the year in the Echo show. I think then you can kind of build stuff up and leave cliffhangers and then just be like, that's the end of Hawkeye. But, we're going to see what happens with Kingpin. And this is all to be kind of presumed, but it's not official. We don't know. So, it annoys me a lot because it's like, we're in the dark now. We don't know like what's coming next and where is it going to like continue. Like, what's Sam Wilson doing? Like, just like what's going on? Where's the Winter Soldier? Like, where's Bucky? Bucky can do some damage. Bucky's like an asset. Where is he? Like I just don't get it. We know what Wanda's still in hiding, and Strange is gonna come and grab her. That's fine. That makes sense. That's fine. I have no problems with that. But it's just like when stuff like Hawkeye happens and we don't know where the story goes next. That shit just drives me crazy, and that's the purpose of the after credit scenes. They give us the little hint, and then we can kind of rest easy for 6 months, knowing okay, at least we're gonna find out what's going on here. But like they just tried to wrap that up way too quickly, and kind of just ruined a couple of stories, and just kind of glanced over a lot of stuff, and just the payoff was awful. It was really bad.
Yeah, I read, Pinto, that Kevin Feige demanded, like he like told them, like, you need to have this number as the after credits. And I realized like that's so horrible.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the after credits. As far as like for new content or things that we're looking forward to, yeah, that was a horrible move. But I didn't enjoy it. But Kevin Feige just telling him like, no, keep this number in there. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, like there should have been a scene with. We spoke about this already, but there should have definitely been something a lot more kind of revealing in that. Just that's what they're for. That's what we all stay sitting in the seat for. Is to see what's coming next. And I think Eternals was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, shit, he's an Avenger already. Like, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Do you think that Disney are gonna be like, as I know, there's pretty much, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but I think like Midnight Suns is coming. So, you presume that there's going to be a couple of characters kind of teaming up. Do you think that they do a Defenders or something, or like Young Avengers, or like do you think a team up is coming soon, like a kind of mini Avengers TV show on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I'm actually hoping for West Coast Avengers because of the whole setup with Hawkeye, Mockingbird. You've got other characters that are part of the West Coast Avengers that I can't like Wanda's part of it. I mean, it'd be nice to kind of have a different division. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired being on the East Coast now. Like let's move closer either to the middle or to the West. You know, kind of put us somewhere else.
I know we got Thunderbolts coming down, which kind of seems like they're going to incorporate a lot of people. Who that's going to actually involve at the end of the day, like I don't know. I guess that's going to be like more their like Mito, because like U.S. Agent seems like he's going to be part of that. Zemo seems like he's going to be part of that, right?
Yeah.
Outside of that, like Young Avengers, I don't see Young Avengers taking place in the movie theater. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm wrong, right? Like maybe a lot of people will show up for Young Avengers, but like I'm not excited to go see a Young Avengers movie. But I'd watch it on Disney. Well, hell, I'd watch it in a movie theater too. But I'm not going to be like pumped for it. So I just like I don't know. I'm nervous if they do a Defenders style thing over on Disney Plus, just because it was so bad for Netflix. Like it was such a bad show that I'd be nervous. And I also don't really see one in the pipeline unless Thunderbolts is going to like include Hawkeye and stuff, right? Like I don't see where it's at.
I think Thunderbolts will definitely, like, it'll have John Walker, Zemo, Yelena, like they're kind of already been recruited. And I wouldn't be surprised if Yelena kind of grabs Kate Bishop or something like that. I think Kate Bishop was confirmed to be appearing in She-Hulk as well, so I think that's going to be her next appearance. So I don't know if that's going to be like a Yelena style thing where she's there for like 3 episodes or something, or if it's just, you know, a quick cameo or an after credit thing or something like that. I don't know what the extent of it is, but apparently that's where she's going to show up next. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, you know, Young Avengers, that's not $1 billion movie. Like, I don't think so. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. After the pandemic, maybe like 2024 when it's all over, maybe it is $1 billion movie. But like right now, it's like a eternal style kind of like you know, like performer, like like box office wise and stuff like that. So
it's still pretty hazy right now.
Yeah,
and that's what worries us.
Yeah, for sure.
It is, and it is time for them to start doing more crossovers and cameos. Like it's time to make it start feeling like the MCU again. I know there was like articles and rumors that Ant-Man was supposed to show up in Hawkeye.
I read that,
but they cut him because once again they're like, we don't want to steal the spotlight from Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. I'm like, you guys don't understand your own franchise. Like, they never steal the spotlight. It only like
enhances everything.
It enhances it. Yes,
everything. Like think
they
about
put another spotlight on it. Like
think about when Falcon showed up in Ant-Man. You know, I hate Falcon, but it was such a great moment. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my god, it's amazing. He's on the compound and Falcon shows up. Like that's epic. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
and they don't even have to do it big where they help out. Like, could you imagine Ant-Man shows up? Because we know him and Hawkeye are kind of like testy towards each other, right? Like they don't love each other, or because of Civil War. I don't know if they don't love each other, but they have a funny back and forth.
Yeah.
And I could totally see where like Ant-Man shows up and, you know, he's like, do you need help? And Hawkeye's like, no, I got it. Like, I got it. Like, and like, he just goes off. Like, you're like, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. Like
he could have at least given him some Pym particles. Like that would have been cool.
Well, I think they're on talking terms now from what I see, because he's like, oh, I need to talk to Scott about that. Like, you know, when they're talking about the tech and stuff. So I think they've kind of mended the bridge, but yeah, I don't know. Like Lucci in the chat there just mentioned, do you think it's budget related that they're not adding more cameos? And to be honest, I don't think so, because like I think how the contracts with actors work with the MCU is, you know, you sign on for 5 projects, and that, you know, 1 or 2 of them could be like smaller roles in other movies and stuff like that. So like Paul Rudd, for example, would sign a 6-movie deal or something like that, and like one like part of that deal could be like 2 episodes of Hawkeye or something. And, you know, if he did shoot scenes, like, he could have used up a contractual, you know, agreement or, like, one of his stages, and then they just go and cut it because they think, oh, no, we can't do that. It's crazy. Like.
But this is why suits are so useful, though. You like, if you can't afford him being on screen, just afford him his voice.
Yeah.
Just have him come in with the suit, pop up, be like, here you go, I got you some extra Pym particles, and then fuck off. That's it.
Paul Rudd's a down. Paul Rudd's a down to earth dude as well. Like, I would not be surprised if, like, you know, he just lended his voice for free or for a very small fee or something. Like, I can't imagine he'd be stuck in a negotiation with Disney and Marvel, like, to use his likeness. Like, I can only imagine that he would more than just love to be a part of anything to do with it. And like, I know I always speak about like what I'd be like if I was in that situation. But like, sure, if I was a fucking actor and I was in the MCU and they wanted to use my character anywhere, I'd be showing up. I'd be there on the day, ready to go, no complaints. And if I'm getting money, I'm lucky, like happy days. Do you know what I mean? Like Chris Evans going onto set of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and like just going to see the boys and, you know, seeing how production's going and not shooting a scene is fucking madness to me. Like, you know, it's like throw him in the makeup, get old man Rogers in there like for 5 fucking minutes on screen less. You know what I mean? You could improv a scene. You don't even need to write a script for it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just it's maddening to me. Like, it really is.
Pinto, I could just picture Finto with the Ant-Man suit, like with the bandolier, the particles. It's like, what you need? I got you.
Yeah. Just popping in like, hey, see you ran out of arrows. Here's a few more. See you later. Bye. Turns into Giant Man and just runs off. So good, dude. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, yeah, I just don't understand. You know, I don't understand how they don't like have. I don't know, they can't do it anymore, but like how they just didn't have like Iron Man like just flying across the sky in any of the shows that are based in New York. Like, he would obviously be like he'd obviously be there, like, you know, or like Spider-Man just zipping around and again, it's just such simple stuff. Like, you could reuse footage. Like, I'm sure they have plenty of outtakes and CGI stuff that they didn't use, but like, you know, middle of Hawkeye, Kate Bishop's walking down the road, she looks up and Spider-Man just zips by, she goes, oh my god, it's Spider-Man. Like, no interaction, just him there, you know, he's in the city. Like, that shit would just sell so fucking much, like, so much.
Well, and even if it was like just like a flyby or a swing by, imagine if he swings by and then there's actually an explosion that occurs and then they have to go help with something, you know, like, it's fine. Like, they're ground warriors. Like, they can help, they can do things, they can be heroes.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be all this inside work.
And especially in TV, like, it would help out, like, just kind of set the scale of TV shows so much more. Like, you imagine Daredevil, like, with Finto's thing of him flying by. Like, you see Iron Man flying in the sky, and they just, like, keep pulling the camera back. And then it's just Daredevil sitting on top of, like, a 1-story, 2-story building in Hell's Kitchen. Like, it makes the show feel small and street level. Like, it's not up in the sky. It's not this bigger thing. It's, like, really intimate and, like, down here. Like, you could do so much with direction like that, man. Like, and they just, you know, I guess money, I guess writing. Like, there's 10 different reasons why they don't do it, but they're all bad reasons. Like, they should just do it.
Like, Daredevil season 1 kind of did do it a little bit. You know, they mentioned the New York alien attack, and I think there's one scene in it where your man, what's his name, Whistler or Wesley or something, you know, Kingpin's partner or whatever, his assistant, what's his name?
I think Wesley. I hope it's not Whistler.
No, it's not Whistler. That's I'm thinking of Blade. I'm thinking of Blade. But yeah, basically, I think he says at one point in the show, he turns around and says, one dude in a black mask beat the shit out of your whole team, and he didn't have a magic hammer, or he wasn't green or something. And it's just like, you know, even just stuff like that just works so well. Even just mentioning stuff, I feel like they're kind of even afraid to talk about people, you know, which is crazy. Like, you know, because like now it's connected more than it's ever been connected. This is the time. This is the time. Like, you know, like, why, like, are they not talking about like Spider-Man and Hawkeye? Like, you know, like, he's moved into an apartment that's right beside Rockefeller Center, and what you're saying, he's not gonna look out his window and see fucking a terrorist attack and not throw the suit on. Like, it's just crazy.
Exactly.
It's just nuts. Like
like, why wouldn't you see Spider-Man attacking a bunch of thugs and all of a sudden you hear, oh
yeah
it's just like,
oh dude, like,
and all of a sudden you see Punisher.
Oh dude, like, you know, I have such high hopes for where it's all going, like, because it's like, there's just so much, like, it's going to be like comic book like team ups, like, very shortly, like, you know, just with the amount of characters that we're going to have, Blade and Punisher and everybody, Daredevil and Deadpool and everything. Like, you know, they can literally just work off any source material they want to just bring any storyline to life now. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
I agree.
Oh man,
We're in for a
can't
good
wait
year.
for yeah, exactly.
And like 2023 is like when it's all going to come together. Like they're building it next year too.
Yeah.
Like 2023 is going to be like probably the crazy MCU year.
Yeah, like this is still phase 1. You know, like phase 4 is kind of a reboot phase. It's phase 1 all over again. And we're still in it. We're still in that. So yeah, like we've got another year of kind of building on Disney Plus, and then kind of maybe some epic kind of sequels, like with like Thor and Doctor Strange and stuff like that. Yeah, it's wild, and that's just talking about Marvel. Like Star Wars have a lot happening next year, and DC have a couple of movies happening which could be terrible, but they could be brilliant as well. Like, you just don't know. Like, I think that Batman movie is going to be great. The Flash could be a success. I don't even want to talk about Aquaman 2. I might not even go see that in the theater. Like, I might just like wait for that to be available on streaming, because I think that movie's going to be fucking awful.
I'm gonna love it. I'm going to see that one in the theater, baby.
I look, you know, I've seen every superhero movie in the theater since I was about 12 years old, so, you know, I don't really want to break the tradition, but like, I really don't want to pay much money to go see that.
I mean, like that dude, do you know that movie made $1.1 billion?
I know.
Like, people love fucking Aquaman. Like, what the hell, dude?
They love Jason Momoa. Like, it's not really.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
I like him too, but I'm kind of sick of him now at this stage. Like, he's kind of being typecast, and I'm just kind of like, nah, whatever. You know, it's not as good. Like, I don't know, Willem Dafoe was in that movie, and what's his name, Patrick Bateman, yeah, Patrick Bateman as well. Is it Patrick Bateman? What's his name?
No.
What's his name? Your man from The Conjuring.
I don't know.
Straight up.
Patrick Wilson.
Wilson, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, so like he was brilliant in Aquaman as well, and Black Manta was cool as well. Like, the suit was a bit ridiculous, but like, I know
it's comic book accurate though, right?
It was too. I think it was a little too comic accurate. I think that's the problem. You know, like big giant head, and I think his head's getting bigger in the next one. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Look, you know, it is what it is.
I'm really hoping DC though takes off at least a little bit, so that we can get some more, you know, comparisons and things to talk about in addition to Marvel, so that we can, you know, because as much as I love Marvel, like, it's fun to also talk about DC when it's starting to do well.
Oh yeah, bro. Like, when DC's on, like, it's a fantastic. Like, and I know there's some mixed reviews about the Snyder Cut, like, but the Snyder Cut was great. Like, I don't care what you say, like, it was great. It was a great movie.
You fucking DC stands. It was not a great movie.
It was a great
I
movie.
haven't watched
It was
I still haven't watched it. I still haven't watched it.
Watch it, for Christ's sake. Did you watch the Joss Whedon cut of the Justice League?
Yeah, like, that was the original cut, right?
Yeah. You saw that?
Yeah.
Okay, well then you're gonna really appreciate the Snyder Cut, because it's just fixing that movie. Like,
the one you saw, whatever you thought about it, is gonna be like a 1 point higher. Like, he does fix some stuff. It is nice, but it's like
the whole thing, I think, just flows so much better, and I was just so impressed at how a director's vision could change a movie so much. Like, I just like thinking about it as like from a film creation perspective. I was like, this is actually like insane to me at how different this film is compared to Joss Whedon's cut. Like, and I'm just checking here now. This film on IMDb has an 8.1 rating, which is crazy.
I don't care what they're lying.
I'm just saying, 350
DC stands, bro.
Okay,
353,000 fans voted on that.
Finto, Venom Let There Be Carnage has an audience like average rating of 4.0. So you're telling me that it's fine?
No, absolutely not. I think let me see, Let There Be Carnage. If it's below a 6, I won't be.
Oh yeah,
shocked.
for IMDb, it's at a 6.
It's a 6, yeah, and that's I think that's being kind to the film. It's awful.
I think 8's being kind of fucking.
Right.
I mean, what do they rate Eternals? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Eternals got a bad rating. It was.
Yeah, so you know that they're, you know, look, you can't when it comes to comic books, you cannot go to IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes for accurate things because they're not judging the movie. They're judging seeing like their people they want to see on screen. They want to see Batman. They want to see Superman. They love seeing on screen, and like they're just. It doesn't matter if it's a great movie or a bad movie. A lot of people are just like, I love that I got to see that character on screen. 10 out of 10. Like I am fucking awesome. And there was
I
such
agree
a
wholeheartedly.
yeah, and there was such a huge internet movement behind Zack Snyder. His thing, they're like, I love that Zack Snyder got to make his movie. 10 out of 10. Like they don't watch it objectively and they go rate this stuff. And like I just don't like that movie was good. It was a good superhero movie, but like if you start it now, Alex, I know you're on the West Coast. If you might have time to finish the fucking movie before the new year. You might be able to get it done. It was like 6 hours long, man.
It's 4. It's 4.
Oh God.
It's 4 hours.
Fucking.
But Joss's rating is 6.1. So, you know, that's a bad movie. Like,
I mean,
and
of course that's his rating. That's not
but
his cut.
it's all the same. It's all
So
the same
you're-
characters. It's all the same people. Like, you know,
You're telling me the
it's the
Eternals
same
and-
movie.
They gave Eternals a 6.1 or 6 point whatever.
No,
so
no,
you're
no.
saying Eternals
Shut-
and Josh Whedon's. No, you're saying
Did
the
Eternals
Eternals
get a
and Josh Whedon's are like just they are the equal to each other. They're not.
Oh,
Eternals
God,
is
no.
way better.
Eternals
But
is
that's
way,
what
is way
IMDb
better.
is saying. That's what IMDb
Is it a
is saying.
6.1? Is it actually a 6.1?
I
I'm gonna check now.
What is it?
I'm checking.
What are
We're
we
right
not
looking
getting
up?
good ratings.
Eternals. Eternals has a 6.8. So
Yeah,
nearly
so, like,
7. Like
There's
to
no
be
way, bro.
to be honest, I think a lot of superhero movies score around the 7. You know, like for like the standard audiences and stuff. You know, I think Eternals was a good movie. It had problems, of course. Like the third act was all over the place, but you know, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it, and I'd watch it again. I'll be watching it on the 12th of January when it goes on to Disney Plus and IMAX, 100%.
Yeah. Same.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like 6.8 is probably a fair score for that film.
What?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I
Look.
thoroughly enjoyed it, man. Like it had its down points, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
People are gonna love that movie when they go back and rewatch it. I guarantee it.
I think I will like it more the second time around, but me personally, I would give it about a 7.5. Like, it's not an 8. Like, it's not a great Marvel movie.
I'll take your 7.5, sir.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound right. New year, huh?
got him.
Oh God.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what else? I don't know. Like, sorry, you were saying you're rewatching, or you're watching for the first time, like Mandalorian stuff like that. Are you? How far are you now?
I'm completely finished, and I finished the first episode of Book of Boba.
Oh my God, you're caught up. Holy shit! Talk to us. Talk to us.
I thoroughly enjoyed. Like, let's start with the Mandalorian. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic story, just of his journey and having all of these moments where he has to help other people. But it's this like the only thing that kind of caught my eye was that it was the same formula for every single episode, which, although like it wasn't bad, it was just it was overplayed. I think it could have used a little more introspective things that they could have talked about. It didn't have to be like, oh, Mandalorian, you're here, help me out, and then I'll help you out kind of situation, or I'll point you in the direction of something else. And you know, but other than that, I really enjoyed the journey. When meeting the child, and I already knew it was Grogu, but I didn't know how that occurred.
Yeah.
So watching the first season, I loved how everything was like similar to the first 3 original movies, you know, episode 4 through 6,
Yeah.
where it was mostly props. And yes, there were some CGI moments, but like it was mostly props. Like the character faces had, you know, they were props, you know, some of them were animatronic, and it just looked like the old school like 4 through 6 movies, which was so fun.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like you can tell, like Favreau and Filoni, like they just want to go back to that and like be back, like doing George's content. You know, that's where like they want it to be. And from what I hear, like going forward, they're going to be like introducing like Grand Admiral Thrawn and doing like a Heir to the Empire storyline, which is them, I think, trying to fix like the kind of progression into the awful thing that was the sequel trilogy, but I think they're trying to like soften the blow, if that makes sense. So give us like, everyone's kind of like, where the fuck is, like where's the stories of like Han Solo and like Leia, and how did they break up basically or get on their rocky path with each other? Like, there was just so much stuff that like they just jumped 30 years into the future and they didn't explain any of it. So I think like they're trying to maybe tell a few of those stories that should have been told, using like CGI and de-aging and all that sort of shit, and then maybe just like have a kind of smoother transition into the sequel trilogy and trying to like kind of maybe bring some of the original fans with them. I think that's the goal.
Yeah. And I can see that, but at the same time, I think I'm tired of the Jedi and Sith right now. I think I love so far. Like, I'm not saying I don't want to see them. I'm saying I love all of these other stories that are occurring right now. Yes, these are characters that we know of, except for the Mandalorian. That was like a completely new character, and that was fun. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the galaxy. I don't like it, not everywhere has a Jedi, and there's things going on in the galaxy, and I love that. Like, that's why I really enjoyed The Mandalorian so much, was that it wasn't so much about Jedi. Like, yes, Grogu had, his powers, and it was, you could see that he had a strong affinity to the Force, but you got to see the Mandalorian just like a bounty hunter of sorts, doing things for other people. And although it was repetitive, there were different stories, different things, different outcomes. Like, okay, this person has, this Mandalorian armor because they bought it. They got it from the Jawa.
That was funny.
This person, yeah, that was really funny. And I love, like, I realized, like, after a while, I was like, how does this lead into the Book of Boba Fett? And during the second season, when we actually see Boba Fett, like, I didn't even have to like see him with the armor on yet. I just knew from the get go, like, you have my armor, and I'm like, oh crap,
yeah,
like, it's Boba Fett, and but at the same time, I think they put Boba Fett on a pedestal, which is why I think that when the first episode came out, it was fun, but it was just this weird moment of like, I don't know if Boba Fett ever had the intention of wanting to be a lord, to be like a running an empire. Like, I never had that thought, like going into episode 6. Mm-hmm. It's a weird situation, but I do see how, because he is like his own character, that he probably wants to be the biggest and the best, that he doesn't want anybody, above him. Yeah. I can see how, like, that's why he wanted to take over. But I also like that he's trying to rule without, an iron fist. It's going to be a different setting, because Jabba really ruled with fear. Like, anywhere you go, like, anytime you saw Jabba, you're like, oh crap, what's going on? What kind of deal's going? And it also makes me wonder, like, what happened to Jabba's family? Like, why didn't his son take over? Like, was the entire family like wiped out? Am I missing something? Am I supposed to watch like the other shows? Would that explain it? Or is this something that's completely off?
I think in episode 6, if I'm not mistaken, the ship that they're all on just gets blown up, and I think they all just die. All the huts and everything, they're all just in Return to the Jedi. When Luke rescues Han, like, I'm pretty sure like R2D2 blows up that whole ship, and I think that all the huts are on that, as far as I know.
Oh, and that makes sense.
That's kind of, and then maybe a few of them survive or something. And that's how the kind of squid guy, or whatever his name is, he was like Jabba's left hand. How he got into power then, because he survived the explosion somehow, or some shit like that.
Well, if Jabba has another surviving son, I think that would be a great plot for, the Book of Boba Fett going forward, because as of right now, we're just seeing his rise. Mm-hmm. And although there are going to be moments where he's going to have conflict with other people who don't agree with his reign, like, you got to have something afterwards. Like, if Book of Boba does well and they go into a second season, they have to have like a son of Jabba being like, I want to take over. Like, this was my empire to take over after my father. Like, I want to do that. But that's going a bit far. But going into episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett, I actually like I enjoyed it for the fact that like he was just stripped to nothing, and it looks like he's going to gain the trust of the Tuskens, and we're going to see why he has a Tusken Raider like weapon in Mandalorian season 2. And if you can tell, he doesn't have as good of combat abilities as he does in Mandalorian season 2, which means that maybe he was taught by the Tusken Raiders how to fight better, because he was terrible. I know he was tired, but he was terrible in the first episode. Like he couldn't fight back. That Tusken Raider like made him his bitch.
Yeah. I don't know how the story's going to work with. He's being like regenerated or whatever. So maybe he's just weak from that whole process, and he'll kind of go back to his old self. But like in Mando, like he was like a big boy. Like the actor like was huge, and like
He was massive.
Everyone was talking about how like, oh, it's like, oh my god, like Boba's got a dad bod and all this is crazy. Like, you know, like the actor seems to be in himself, like real world. The actor seems to be in a lot better shape this season and stuff. So I don't know if they're going to use that as a kind of storyline that, like, you know, after his capture and stuff like that, he just was worn down and torn down, and now he's going to revive himself back to his great self. But me and Hoffman spoke about this yesterday when we did a kind of review of episode 1. But it's like I don't want to see him on Tatooine for the whole thing. I don't care about the Hutts, you know. Like I just want to see him potentially get involved in the War for Mandalore or something like that. But I don't know if that's where it's going to go. Like it seems like they're setting up roots in Tatooine, and I just don't think that's the right way to do it.
I agree with that, because when you think about it, if he wants to be better than Jabba, he has to expand. So he has to go get out of Tatooine. He has to establish, you know, other connections between other worlds. But ultimately, it will end up back in Tatooine. But like, I do agree with you, Finto and Hoffman, that he needs to branch out, go do something else, be on a different planet, show us a different environment, make us believe that there's more to just a local, you know, Empire thug.
Did you know that Luke was going to be back, or was that like a shock to you, or did you like see all the internet hype like last year when?
For Mando season 2, or for
Mando season 2?
Yeah, I had already been spoiled about that a while back. But I still felt emotional because it was definitely one of the most, you know, well done in like reintroductions to a character.
Incredible.
And you felt it, and you felt Grogu like touch the screen. And for any diehard fans, you know, you already know, it's like, oh my god, the green lightsaber.
Second assault
that has to be Luke.
Yeah, second assault lightsaber. I was like, wow, oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this.
And then you see the glove, and you're like, oh, 100%, that's him.
Yeah, it was magical. It was magical. It was one of the only time, if not the only time, that I've sat watching something. I think I watched it at like 1:00 in the morning when the day first came out, and I stood up out of my seat and started pacing back and forth as I was watching it. Like that's how like kind of like all over the place and hyped up I was. I just could not believe what I was watching. Like, and then just seeing the de-age version of Hamill and stuff, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is insane. Like, you know, it's your childhood hero back on the screen in 2021. I was just mind blowing. Like it was mind melting. Could not believe it.
Although I do have to admit, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna like chime in with that, like seeing Luke after having gone through episodes 7, 8, and 9 and what they did to him, right? And like how bad I felt about the character after those movies, like whether or not they earned that ending or like whatever, you know, you can explain all day, but I don't like where the character ended up story wise. So seeing him like come through and have all that hope and like be that young Luke Skywalker just felt so good, man. Like it was great to see, man. Like I will forever love Favreau and Filoni just for that moment. And like they're always going to be legends just because they gave that to the fans.
Yeah, and the fact that they kept that a secret, that was not leaked at all, is the most impressive thing in the world. And I spoke about it before, but they actually like drew up scripts and everything and concept art for Plo Koon, and everyone on set, even to the day, thought it was Plo Koon that was going to show up, and they were like, "Oh my god, Plo Koon's alive! Can't believe it! It's always been one of Filoni's favorite characters. It's Filoni's favorite Jedi." So they're like, "This makes sense. It's Plo Koon, Plo Koon." And then fucking Mark Hamill walks onto the set, and everyone just lost their fucking mind. Like, could you imagine? Just the like, and like, you know, the culture that we live in right now, like everything's spoiled. Like everyone's digging through, like looking for scoops and stuff like that. Like that's what half of like the content creation on YouTube is like trying to get the inside scoop and post it and get a video and get 1 million views on that video as quick as possible. Like that's what content creation is about at the moment, and the fact that they were able to keep that a secret truly blows my mind. Could not believe it.
And just goes to show, like, you fucking leakers and people who dig for this stuff, just like stop, bro. Like, it's so much better when you get to see it and have no idea that's coming. Like, it's so good.
I know, like I do think, like, could you imagine sitting in the cinema and if you didn't know that Andrew Garfield was going to come through that fucking portal, like, I probably would have pissed myself. I probably would have genuinely pissed my pants. Like, I would have been like an absolute emotional wreck.
Then, could you imagine after seeing Andrew Garfield, you see another one and you're like, no way, this is like this
can't be Toby.
Like, you know what? They can't do that.
Yeah, and then he just comes through and he does the little wave.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, madness, absolute madness.
But I do see how that one guy who did YouTube videos for the face.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called. The
De-aging.
face restructuring.
Yeah,
de-aging. He did much better than the one on the Mandalorian season 2. Because when I watched Mando season 2 and I saw
they hired him.
Yeah, and I'm so glad, because when I saw this episode and I was like, oh man, and I was still excited, but at the same time I was like, oh yeah, that kind of looks kind of rough.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing the YouTube video of like the correctness that guy did, and it just looks so much better.
It's insane. A dude sitting at home on his personal computer like did a better job. And I love that they turned around and were like, wow, this guy's amazing. Let's hire him. You know, and I think he went on about a 6 or 7 month streak of not uploading any YouTube content. And he put a tweet out or something. He was like, oh, so sorry, I've been busy with doing some projects for Disney. So, you know, he's been working. So there's definitely a lot of de-aging stuff coming. And I think a lot of the rumors that are out there are actually going to be correct in what we're going to see. So crazy.
How did you guys feel when you saw the other Mandalorian armors? I thought that was really cool that they were different colors and different like designs, but they were truly Mandalorian armor, but they were taken because they're no longer there. Also, like, are we aware of like where the remaining Mandalorian are? Because I think
there's a storyline that was happening in the Clone Wars animated series, and that's where those female Mandalorians and all are actually from the animated series. So that was a big deal to get them into live action, as well as Ahsoka. So like, so much happened in the Mandalorian season 2. Like getting Bo-Katan, the kind of leader of the Mandalorians, like from animation into live action, was just crazy. And the fact that, you know, like what they're doing now is like there's the whole kind of search for the dark saber, because I don't know if you know the story behind the dark saber, but whoever owns the dark saber rules Mandalore, the planet for the Mandalorians. So the Mando has that saber now. He won it in battle, so he is the king of Mandalore. So like the 3rd season is going to be wild. And I think this is going to actually start happening in Book of Boba, I believe. You know, I think it's going to be so closely linked that we're going to see the start of it now very soon, because there was a whole thing of, again, talking about scoopers and shit, but there was like pictures of what's his name, Pablo, the guy who plays Mando.
Oh,
what's his name? The dude who plays Mando? Jesus, I can't even think.
God,
Pablo or
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. Sorry, I couldn't think. I haven't said his name in so long. It kind of just slipped my mind. But Pedro did scenes, or he was like pictured on a set in his Mando gear, and everyone's like, "What's he shooting?" Because Mando season 3 hasn't started yet. So you know, they're kind of like, are they doing season 3 in secret and they're going to launch it earlier than expected, or is he shooting shit for Boba? So, you know,
Yeah.
his voice showed up in the Boba trailer. I presume he's going to show up in Boba. Luke and Grogu are going to show up in Boba. Maybe that's where he reappears as well to kind of, you know, meet up with Grogu and see how his training's going and stuff like that. Insane.
I wanted to ask about that. Was Jango Fett actually a Mandalorian, or did he just design that armor himself? I know that in season 2 of The Mandalorian, Boba Fett was like, "See, this is my armor. It was originally my father's. I'm not he's not a Mandalorian apparently, but
as far
it
as
makes.
I was going to say, as far as I know, that Django was a Mandalorian and he was booted out of he was booted off Mandalore, and then that's how he kind of got to Camino and became the clone. He's like the clone material, and he went out as a bounty hunter on his own then. But as far as I know, he was banished from Mandalore, and I think that's kind of what Boba had mentioned, something about like getting back to Mandalore, because it's like it was technically his birthright because his father was a Mandalorian, but was banished for the wrong reasons or something to that effect. So I think that story will expand for sure, very very soon.
And in addition to that, going on to the other Mandalorian outfits, how did you? Well, not just the outfits, but the actors that were cast. How did you feel about Bill Burr and Timothy Olyphant being cast within season 2?
Yeah, that was great. Loved it. And even your one, Sasha Banks, was very good. Sasha Banks was very good as well. Like, she's a WWE wrestler, like, but she did a great job. So yeah, the show can't miss.
Timothy Olyphant killed it, bro. Like, I feel like I wish they would have had him in the season longer, right? Like, for him to come back in another episode. I hope they use him again. I'm sure they will. And Bill Burr was like shocking. Like Bill Burr's his whole like stormtrooper line, and like the way he like was traumatized and the way he dealt with it and like his emotions is I like better than whatever they did with Finn. Like it was way better than what they did with Finn in the sequels. And like that was kind of the story that they wanted to show with Finn, like a former stormtrooper. But it's like Finn never had a problem being a former stormtrooper, right? Like they kind of gloss over it. And like Bill Burr like kills it in that moment. Like, oh my god, I was shocked by his performance.
That conversation and like the reminiscing and then the point where you see that he's kind of getting the crazy eyes. Like, dude, we died for nothing.
Yeah.
And he's like, well,
it's powerful.
Oh, I guess that's it.
Powerful shit, man. Powerful shit. And his character was kind of a throwaway character in the first season, I think. And then it was just like second season, it was just like boom, like just amazing, absolutely amazing. I actually think after Book of Boba, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the second season of Mando because I think it was just so fucking good, so good. Like there was one or two very short and kind of like filler episodes in it, but like just in the grand scheme of things, I think if you could sit down for a day and go through the whole thing, it'd be some journey of a rewatch. Like wow. Yeah.
Of course.
I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's actually fireworks going off out my window because it just hit.
Happy New Year's!
Happy New Year, buddy.
Yeah, thank you guys. Later 2021.
I already finished my drink, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I'm drinking water here, bro. I honestly fucking hate New Year's, to be honest.
Does it keep you awake?
I never go out and celebrate it just because like the city centers are just insane and you can't get taxis home and stuff like that. Like, so you end up having to like walk an hour to get home and stuff. And it's just carnage everywhere. Everywhere's overpriced. You know, it's just, I try and stay away from it, to be honest.
Yeah, we already did all our shopping ahead of time right before the podcast, so we're good to go. As soon as we're off, like we're playing board games, we're going to watch some movies,
Nice.
We're going to have some drinks. It's going to be a fun time.
Nice, dude. Nice. Hell yeah.
I'm turning in, baby. 10 o'clock, I'm down.
Nice.
Going to bed.
Just
Waking up early.
Waking up nice and fresh into the new year.
Yep, starting it right. Not going to start it hungover.
Love it, dude. Love it. That's probably the best way to do it, to be honest.
I wanted last thing I wanted to talk about was I know this is kind of reaching into a different show, but I didn't know who Pedro Pascal was before watching Mandalorian season 1 and season 2. And when I saw that the reveal for Joel for The Last of Us
Yes, sir.
like The Last of Us was coming around, I was like, I wonder
him.
why they're picking this guy. And now I understand. And I can agree. I can agree wholeheartedly that I would love to see him in The Last of Us 2 or The Last of Us TV show.
I need to see a trailer. I need to see a trailer. I need to see him as Joel. I've seen a couple of pictures and he doesn't look bad, but I need to see it. I need to like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. It could be really like I think the show is going to be great. It's HBO. It's going to be fantastic, but I just have a picture of Joel in my head and he looks more like Hugh Jackman rather than Pedro Pascal. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's certainly going to be a wild ride, but I am hopeful now that I've watched Mando season 1 and 2.
Oh, he's a phenomenal actor, like really phenomenal actor. But I just don't know if he works that well for that role. I think there could have been a couple of people they could have cast that might have worked a bit better. Like maybe like I think a couple of the fan castings I saw were Jackman obviously would be amazing, and even like the girl who played X-23 like from Logan, just recreate Logan. I was like, that is them too, like, you know, that's been going around the internet for a while. Another one was Josh Brolin? He was one maybe that I think he'd be pretty good too. The dude from what's his name, Carl Urban would be a great one as well. Your man from The Boys. He'd be a really good one. Yeah. So
Well, I hope this girl can carry the show because Paige Pascal's got 2 seasons and he's out of here.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Like if they, well, I suppose like, because like I don't know if The Walking Dead. I never read the novels or anything like that. But did The Walking Dead like follow it season by book? Like, you know, was season 2 book 2? You know, I don't think it was. So
No.
I'm very curious to see, do they like stretch out the first game into like a couple of seasons, get us really attached to Joel, and then they move into like the time jump and they've recast Ellie as an older girl and so on. And then when they do that, whenever that's going to happen, when they do that, you know it's coming, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Time jump.
yeah, like the second
5
you see the
years
time
later.
second you see the time jump, you're going to be like, uh-oh, here we go. Oh man, that death in that game was fucking shocking to me. Absolutely shocking to me. It was so well done. So well done.
Yeah. I think this is like, I'm really hoping to see quite a good amount of guitar though.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be like that's kind of the main like music for that kind of show or you know, and for the video game itself, you know, you want to hear the twanging going on, and like you gotta feel it. Like you just can't go into it and like you know, see deaths or see attacks going on and not feel that emotion when it's all over. And those emotional moments. And you know, we're not going to see it, you know, verbatim. We're not going to, you know, we're definitely not going to see David unless they really want to go hard on that. But it's HBO. I mean, you never know.
True. What do you think the clickers and stuff are going to look like? Because that's like kind of what I worry about. Like, I think, you know, it's easy to do zombies now. Well, not easy, but, you know, like Walking Dead can do it. And I think, like, you know, they'll just hire a bunch of like special effects people that worked on The Walking Dead to move over and go and work on Last of Us. But like the clickers and stuff is what interests me, like, because that's like kind of new territory. Like they're just so out there, like design wise. And I don't know how, like, can they do that like correctly in live action?
I would assume that like you hear the clickers a lot more off screen, like almost like a Jaws type of deal.
Oh, okay.
You see a lot of their silhouettes, and then probably like some like close ups, so you don't have to see their whole body moving or something. I think there's a lot of creative things they can do with it to get around, you know. But then again, graphics are insane now in movies and TV shows.
True. I just like, you know, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I watched the trailer for the new Resident Evil movie. Like, and some of the CGI in that looked really bad. And I'm like, for 2021, I'm surprised that they can't do that, you know? So I'm kind of thinking like, fuck, I hope they don't, like, TV budgets. I know it's HBO, but at the same time, TV budgets, I'm like, I hope they do this right, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of makeup and prop wearing. I think it's going to be fairly easy. I think it's easier than doing a zombie, because you have to remember this isn't a zombie. This is a virus based on the cordyceps virus, which is like it's the virus is real, but it can't affect humans in real life. So it's supposed to be in like an anger inducing kind of like 28 days and 28 weeks later. So that's why they're called runners for the first stage, and then the clickers are like the later stage. And then maybe they'll even add stalkers so that we have like a variety of it. What I would really love to see though are bloaters.
Yeah.
Which is that's going to be the big moment. That's going to be like a mid-season kind of moment where you see a bloater and like he's taking pustules and throwing them. And I don't think they'll do the pustules so much, but I think they'll really show like it's just this big dude. And since it's HBO, I'm thinking he's gonna rip a dude's like jaw in half.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be brutal.
I'm so excited. So excited. Yeah, that's definitely something. That's due out in 22, right? Like I wasn't even thinking about Last of Us really, to be honest, as something to be looking forward to. Which is crazy when you think about it, that I'm not even thinking about that. But yeah, Jesus Christ, we are spoiled for content in this year now. Crazy.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh please, they're lucky to have us.
They are. Yeah,
These fuckers.
It's all about us, really. Of course, without us, they've got nothing. Yeah, guys, I don't know if you want to keep going, but I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up.
I think we covered it all, man.
2021,
2021, it's in the bag.
That's it.
2022 around the corner.
41 episodes of the podcast done, and a couple of shows reviewed and everything. So yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Legends, guys. Enjoy your New Year's. I know you haven't reached 12
New Year,
yet,
everybody.
so happy New Year to everybody, and we'll see
Happy
you.
New Year's.
We'll see you next week.
Later, everyone.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.